Tobin and Leroy here with you on 104.3 FM, WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. And Liz, listen, it's a Labor Day. It's good to be back with everybody here on a holiday. It was a fun, long weekend for me. Man, I had a blast doing the Dirty Boxing broadcast this weekend. That was absolutely, what a bananas card that was. I mean, look, I know I'm doing the broadcast. I understand this, but I'm legitimately telling you as somebody who watches a ton of combat sports, has been to everything, has taken in everything. This sport is wild, and it is fun, and the action is nonstop. Shaq was there in the building. I was like, excuse me? Is that Shaquille O'Neal who just walked in?
That's crazy.
It was crazy, Brittany. Shaq walked in. Nate Diaz was there.
Oh, wow.
It started 6 for 6 on finishes. I saw one of the wildest fights of my life with Jancy Silva and Travis St. John. There was a Superman punch from across the ring that landed. It was bananas. I had the time of my life calling that fight, and I really, really am enjoying myself doing that. But, dude, it was so wild to see some of the action in these bouts. So that was a great time. We're obviously celebrating today. Canes victorious, but we got some Dolphins news as well that we got to get to. So let's get to our headlines here today, which are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen. Doral VW just broke the rules of gravity. Prices are falling so fast, we're checking for a crater. Volkswagen price like they've lost their minds. Doral VW, buckle up. No one sells for less. No one. All right, so Mike McDaniel has spoken to the media. We'll bring you some of that coming on up. The big news, Devon Achane is going to be back at practice, so that's good. Devon Achane is going to be ready and raring to go, it seems like, for this week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts on the road. This is a don't lose for the Miami Dolphins. I cannot stress that enough. And if you guys don't know what that means, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm letting you know now, Dolphins, this is a don't lose. The Dolphins have also revealed their 2025 captains, and here is the crew. They have 6 captains this year, which I believe is the fewest they've had in a while. Tua is a captain. Alec Ingold, captain. Aaron Brewer, who everybody's been saying in the locker room has been acting like a true leader, captain. Jordan Brooks, captain. Bradley Chubb, captain. And sealer it on up, Zach Sealer's a captain as well. So those are your captains. As you'll notice, no Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, not a captain. Not surprising he's not a captain. I don't think at all. I think that has been kind of known basically since how last year ended. So he is absolutely was not going to get the captaincy this year. And so I'm not surprised by that. Will it be a thing? I don't know. He'll talk about it, I'm sure, at one point this week. I think that Tyreek has been doing the best job to have as little drama as possible. And we'll see. You know, it's one of those things that was obvious wasn't going to happen. Everybody else, I don't think there's any real surprises.
No.
Everybody else is like, okay, Zach Sealer, he's been the epitome of everything. We know Alec Ingold is always kind of one of their guys. Chubb's veteran, Jordan Brooks and Brewer that we talked about, and then Tua, you got the quarterback. So no real surprises in that group there as they get ready for this week against the Indianapolis Colts. They did announce, though, this was a little surprising. The Dolphins announced that they are dropping a series on YouTube.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's called Under the Sun, and it's premiering tomorrow. I guess it's going to be basically their version of Hard Knocks, which I'm all for. I love behind the scenes stuff.
Love it.
I love that stuff.
The season that we had Hard Knocks in season, it was so fun.
Me too. Hey, Brittany, I'm glad you
so
said
much
that.
Fun.
Because people are sitting here and they're usually like, oh, I don't like Hard Knocks. I don't like when my team have hard. I love when my team has Hard Knocks.
I agree. It was so fun to like watch that season and be like, oh, I can't wait to see that on Hard Knocks.
Samesies.
Like, I loved it. Every single weekend, me and my cousin would sit down and we were like ready with our popcorn.
Agreed.
To watch like the behind the scenes of what happened.
Yeah, and this is and look, they've neutered Hard Knocks. I mean, this year has been with the Bills just terrible.
I just feel like they're such an not like I don't want to say uninteresting because that sounds mean, but like I'm also not trying to be nice to the Bills. They're just like they don't have enough characters. They don't have enough like controversy. I don't know, like they're not an interesting team, like an interesting enough team for me to feel like Hard Knocks would be interesting for them.
No, they're not an interesting team, but it also feels like they're going out of their way to even be more uninteresting than they typically are. So I think like you're right. They themselves are boring, but I feel like they are by just nature trying to make themselves even more boring than they have been. It has legitimately been, and I even tried. Like I went back and I watched I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, this is terrible. And then I'm like, all right, maybe number 3. No, terrible.
Well, I didn't watch it, but I was at my cousin's house the other day and my uncle had it on, and I was like, this is such a snooze fest.
It is a snooze fest. It was. No, there's no
It was
ifs, ands, or buts
the
about
part
it.
that I the only interesting part was when they like were talking to this woman at a bar and she started crying about the thought of them winning a Super Bowl.
I don't
And
need to see those stupid Bills
I don't
Mafia
need to see
people.
that. Like
I don't need to see that.
I was like, if
You know,
we're like the most interesting thing about you is your fans because at least they're interesting.
let me just explain something to everybody. You could literally find lady on the bar for any fan base you wanted to.
It's
Okay.
true.
You could. I mean, there's gonna be some if you went the span of the fan bases, all of it, you could find the Jaguars homeless lady, and you could say she'd probably cry over that. You could find, some fan from some Dolphins fan. There's some other lady who would probably be crying on a bar. It doesn't make you special.
No.
It makes you a good fan, that you care that much, but it's not unique to the Bills. And they make it seem like this is some bypass that they're better fans because they're idiots that jump through tables.
Yeah, and they had the part where they had like a whole thing about this guy who a Jets fan moved in next to him and he was like, that made me so angry.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah, he was like, he goes, I had to step up my game. I'm like,
They
good for you,
painted
dude.
their house was painted Bills colors.
Yep. I don't think my wife would go for that.
I don't think anyone should go for that. That's insanity.
Yeah, I don't think Mrs. Tobin would go for like a Marlins teal house or any kinds of aqua colors. I don't think that's going to happen. I really, really don't. But this is their thing. They, we get it. Buffalo sucks. That's they love the Bills, and they act like they're the only people who have ever fanned because they throw piss snowballs at other people. Great people. Yeah, it's an awesome thing. But Hard Knocks has sucked. But the Dolphins are going to do their own in-house thing. So that'll debut apparently tomorrow. You guys can get a look at that. We'll hear a little bit from Mike McDaniel coming up here. He just spoke to the media. If you guys missed it this morning, I know I didn't. Pelle Larsson scored 28 points for Sweden, but they fell to Montenegro 87-81. Did you watch, Brittany?
I can't say that I did. No.
It was really disappointing. Pelle had 24 going into the fourth quarter. His 3-point shot got a little cold. And then, he really is doing it all for Sweden.
I'm going to say, did no one else score?
He's doing it all for Sweden. He really is.
Okay.
They don't have much support. And then this damn Vucevic from Montenegro. Like, even in Eurobasket, Vucevic is giving the Heat the business.
Yep. There's always going to be.
Yep. He is. He's been terrible. And then Fontecchio, the gondola, Italian
I saw that
Kawhi.
He did so bad.
No, he did do bad, but then he set a record and he scored 39 yesterday. Yup.
Wow.
He did it against Bosnia, but he.
I can't imagine.
And I don't even think it's the whole name.
There's really good Bosnian players.
They have Nurkic.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know who else they have though. but Fontecchio did score 39 points. He had a really good game. Nico, he plays Czechia coming up at 2:15 today. If you guys want to watch Jovic. Now, I was excited because I mentioned Dirty Boxing. While I was getting ready for the broadcast, I was all prepared. I did my homework. So I spent my time at the hangar while everybody was kind of getting ready. And they're like, Tobes, you want some makeup? I'm like, that's not going to help this face. So I just stayed over at the hangar. and I watched Serbia versus Portugal, and Nikola Jovic put up a perfecto, which was 18 points, 6 for 6 shooting, 2 for 2 from 3, and he also got a technical foul because he's not going to deal with that bleep from Portugal, and so he got in Buddy's face and got teed up. But let me tell you something about Nikola Jovic. He's got that dog in him, and he should not be trifled with. And I don't think that people like people were saying, "Oh, he doesn't move like this in the NBA." First of all, he very much does move like that in the NBA. He's already been suspended for being in fights. Like Nikola Jovic and almost got suspended again. So
he's the first one whenever something happens with one of our players. He's like the first one that's ready to go.
I don't think people realize this. I think they think that, first of all, he is a giant man. Okay. I know people look at that adorable face and they think, oh yeah, Nico, come on, look at him. He's a baby. He's 6'11". He's a behemoth. And he's already been suspended for fighting, but he did not care for how Portugal was going about their business. So he therein lied, gave them the business, but got teed up.
I feel like Serbia, like the Serbians have like a lot of I don't know how to say, like they have a lot of anger.
Well,
I think it's very unassuming anger.
It's a quiet rage, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like a quiet rage.
I can see that. It's one of these things for him. Like I think that he's trying to show his chops, because the thing about Eurobasket, and this is the promise, only the second to last time I'll talk about this. The thing about Eurobasket is a lot of these European teams has a hierarchy. They don't really believe in playing the young, and especially Serbia, which has such a proud tradition. But this kid's undeniable. Like he's been with the senior national team for 3 straight years. And, obviously Joker's the best player, but they just lost Bogdan Bogdanovic. So my Serbs have to go out there today, and he's going to have a little bit more that he's going to have against Czechia.
Bogdanovic got hurt.
Yeah, he hurt his hamstring. Oof. I don't think the Clippers are going to let him play through it.
Nope.
So, man, it's exciting. But if you guys want to partake, later today.
How early did you wake up to watch?
Pella?
Yeah.
He was a 6 o'clock tip today.
Yep. That's a level of dedication that
I know. Well, he's playing really well. He's playing really well. He plays tough, but there really is not a lot of he doesn't have a lot of support. And I don't and the Swedish coach, who's really dressed nicely, he looks like Swedish Pat Riley. He's still going with the suit. He took out this other guy who was having a really good game for like the senior Swedish point guard who was stinking up the joint, and I don't really know why, but that's another story for another day. Earlier today, we heard a little bit from Carson Beck. This was Heather Dinich today on ESPN. You always see her up there. She's one of their lead college football analysts, and says this should skyrocket the Canes in the rankings.
Miami should be number 3 in the country because they got one of the best non-conference wins of week 1 and probably the entire season. This is the kind of win that is going to resonate with the College Football Playoff Selection Committee through Selection Day. It's a head-to-head tiebreaker that they'll own as long as their records are comparable. Miami right now looks like it can win the ACC, but if it doesn't and it's fighting for an at-large bid, this will separate them from other CFP contenders that didn't play as strong of a non-conference schedule. Yes, strength of schedule still matters.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to hold you to that, Heather, because I'm going to listen. If something does happen, like an unfortunate NC State loss or something like that, I'm going to hold you to that. So we'll see what's what with that. We'll get back into the Canes, but we do have to do here a little 15 minutes of Game Day Uncensored, which is brought to you by the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Get offers on select models now through September 2nd, so tomorrow. Learn more at lexus.com. But the captains have been named. We now have Mike McDaniel, who spoke to the media today, and this was his reaction to the 2025 captains.
I'm really excited about the whole voting process this year in general, because each team is unique to its own, and this team I think was much more unified, and the focus on those 6 guys were very clear. So they were resounding vote getters, and I think it speaks to the team. I think knew the assignment a little bit more, and were focused on giving the keys of captainship to those that had earned it each and every day. And I think that's what it speaks to me the most, is a football team that knows who they want to be led by.
All right, there you go. Sounds very much like they were in a situation with I feel like the last few years where like the stars were the captains, and I feel like this year it's a little bit more of Tua's still a captain, and but there's more leaning towards, yeah, this guy is really about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they've said about like Jordan Brooks and Aaron Brewer this year.
It's interesting. I don't know. It's funny because he was like, there's people that deserve it. I feel like that was a little bit of a pot shot.
He really hates Jalen Ramsey now.
He really does.
He really seems to hate Jalen Ramsey's guts. I don't know what happened there, but this used to be like, and that is an interesting thing with Mike McDaniel that has changed. I think that Mike McDaniel has turned himself into, instead of I'm going to be the star whisperer, I think he took some pride in that. Oh, the stars dig me. They like me. But then I think he feels a little taken advantage of. You really have to be able to be trustworthy of the guys who will be in the foxhole with you. Now, one of those guys who is not a captain, who in past years Mike McDaniel has really leaned into his leadership, is Tyreek Hill. This is what Mike McDaniel said on Tyreek Hill getting no captaincy.
Yeah, I would say my thought would be that he was an active participator in voting for probably multiple captains that we do have. I think it's more about the guys that we picked and less about the guys we didn't, because there are a lot of guys exemplifying tremendous leadership qualities that aren't a captain of this football team. I think it's more of a focus on who is and not who isn't.
You know what annoys me about him? He can be so concise when he wants to be.
It's like he does it on purpose.
He really can be concise if he wants to
be. There was no ums in there.
Nope.
It was so concise. It was so clear.
He really can be that if he wants to be.
Like, he really can be. And it's usually when it has to do with controversy.
Yep. Well, they did it, and he did address today. There was news over the weekend. Did that happen on Friday when it was here? It's all a blur now.
Yes, it was Friday.
Yeah, the Dolphins linebacker coach or outside linebacker coach, Ryan Crow, who sounds like a linebacker, he was arrested for battery, and apparently he's on indefinite leave right now. Mike McDaniel said a whole bunch of things. He says they're going through the process of it. It's unfortunate when things like this happen because it involves the Dolphins name and the fans and all that, but basically said that, they're going to let the process play out and that he really doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I'm like halfway through today's press conference, so I don't know if he was asked about it again or not, but it basically sounded, he went on for like 2 minutes and sounded like he didn't really want to take any questions on it. So,
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, and I don't know what are you supposed to say? It's either
he's not his keeper, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's not his keeper, and they're not firing him yet. It sounds like they put him on leave, and they probably, are telling him kick rocks. That's what I imagine it is.
In a respectful way,
respectfully kick rocks. Yeah, don't come around here no more.
Nope.
That's what I would imagine.
We don't need an outside linebackers coach. Our linebacker coach can just handle everybody. It's
right.
Fine.
It's like, I think Chop Robinson's going to be okay without you, Mr.
Okay.
Arresty.
I think he'll be okay.
I think it's going to be. I think he's got it. So thanks for that though. But the Dolphins are going to get ready for the Colts this week. We of course will start up now. We do have action tonight. We have TCU goes up against North Carolina, which is obviously a little juicy because we're going to get to see Bill Belichick. And I kind of feel like there's a little. He's not now. They're not the favorite. The Horned Frogs, which is kind of what Bill Belichick has been this offseason. The Horned Frogs are the favorite going into this, even though it is in Chapel Hill. But it kind of feels like there's a little pressure on them because of all of the girlfriend stuff. So I'll give it a little peeky poo tonight. I mean, if I had my choice about either watching that or Serbia Czechia, I would watch Serbia Czechia, but I don't have to worry about that because that's earlier in the day.
Exactly.
So I guess I'll tune in and watch. And I'm going to root for him. The one good thing about Bill Belichick being at UNC, I can still hate his guts because they're an ACC team, and I don't have to, and I'm not going to root for that. I'm going to root for
know something. Okay, this is you brought up a great. You just triggered a conversation that I had the other day. So obviously, Clemson played LSU this weekend, and I hate Clemson, and I understand that I'm very biased because I grew up 30 minutes away from Clemson, and the Clemson fans bullied me my whole life because the Canes always lost to them in the 2000
They
like
still
10s.
lose to them all the time.
Yeah. It's like my hatred for them runs very, very deep.
Yep.
It's very close to my hatred for FSU, which is crazy, I know. And I was at my uncle's house and he's like rooting for Clemson. I'm like, what are we doing?
Wow, he did that?
I was like, what are we doing?
I don't like that.
And then he was like, oh, it's an ACC team. You know, we want.
Oh, I don't do that.
I don't believe. Thank you. People always tell me I'm crazy for that, for not rooting for my conference. No.
There are certain situations where it'll happen. Like last year, I was desperately rooting, but it was simply for the Canes because I knew if Georgia Tech was able to beat Georgia, then I know that would have benefited the Canes. And I still feel like it should have, even the fact that they went to a gazillion overtimes with Georgia. Like that, in that case, I'll root for Georgia Tech, even though Georgia Tech has caused plenty of heartbreak for the Canes. In that case, I have to be. But if I'm just simply rooting for pride, like in bowls, no, I'm not going to do that. Especially for FSU. Like there's
but
no
we
shot.
hate the SEC. I don't care. I'm rooting for LSU the whole time.
Yeah, I have no interest in that.
I'm no interest in
I'm
that.
glad that Dabo Swinney lost this week, and I don't like. And trust me,
Dabo Swinney
yeah, who likes Dabo Swinney?
People love him. They really do.
Because he's
the Messiah of South Carolina. Let me tell you.
Listen, you try. Oh yeah, well I forgot you have that whole whole tie
Tobin,
there.
It's trauma.
No,
it runs deep.
I believe it. You know, but he's a wackadoodle.
Oh, we built this program on NIL. We really did. It's probably different than what you're thinking, though. We built this program in God's name, image, and likeness.
Oh
Listen, let me tell you something. I know things about before NIL was NIL.
Mm-hmm.
And I know things about what they let players do there. Okay.
Wait, you mean that they don't all just go to Bible study? And
no,
really?
No.
That's shocking. I really thought that they were good boys over there in Clemson. I thought that they didn't act like teenage and 20-year-old superstar athletes.
Yeah.
Where their football team is a religion. That's crazy. I really thought that Dabo had the keys to making it all
the moral
like
compass
normal.
of college football.
Oh man. I will say though, this weekend in college football, it was a delight.
It was.
I did they're gonna the nonstop stories this weekend is gonna be Arch Manning because Arch Manning was not very impressive. So all people are gonna talk about is how he stunk to high heaven, like Paul Feinbaum would say. Even though Paul Feinbaum said, didn't he say that he was the greatest college prospect ever? I think he said something like that.
If he did, I did not hear it.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I think that he said something like that. But Arch did not look very good. Now, he did go up against Ohio State. Somebody asked me this weekend, they're like, hey, who are you betting? Are you betting Texas or are you betting Ohio State? I'm like, I'm betting Ohio State. Like, I don't understand why you would bet.
I don't know why you're betting against Ohio State.
I don't know why you would bet against Ohio State. They just won the championship.
Texas should have never been number 1 in the country.
It was really weird. I don't understand that.
I don't understand that.
Do you think they had a little do you think they have a little regret kicking Quinn Ewers to the curb?
I would.
It's kind of strange.
I would. I mean, but at the same time, it's hard because it's like, how are we going to come down so hard on somebody who's only had 3 starts?
I get it. No. I get it. But it is what it is.
I'm not going to defend him because I don't like Texas and whatever. But I'm like, he's started 3 games and he's playing against the defending national champions.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if you are treating him already like people were going to tank for him, and you basically are on essentially our royal family. Like, we don't have a royal family in America, but if we were, it probably would be the Mannings.
Sure.
And yeah, if he stinks to high heaven, like, I get it. Like, Peyton Manning had a bad rookie year when he was with Indianapolis. Like, Eli Manning, didn't embody a lot of great stuff, forcing his way to New York. But man, people were really excited about this debut from him, and that was not impressive.
I just don't think there was a world ever, in my opinion, that he plays 1 year of starting 1 year fully and then goes to the NFL. Like, and I think yesterday is proof of that. Unless he makes an incredible turnaround throughout the season, I think we're going to see him in Texas next year, and maybe another team, even if he decides to transfer. Maybe
what you should really do is you should recognize who the real phenoms are, like Malachi Toney, and the fake phenoms, like Arch Manning. That's what we should pay attention to, people. We'll take a break.